Well, better late than never, so I'm taking up the Kitbash challenge on Ron's Trains and Things right now. Hi, I'm Ron of Ron's Trains and Things, and if you'd like to see more model railroad tips, tools, and techniques, then be sure and subscribe down below and click that little bell icon so you can catch future videos. Those of you who are subscribers to Model Railroader Video Plus know that last spring they took up a challenge among the staff of MRVP known as the State Line Kitbash Challenge, and they invited viewers to play along if they wanted to. In this challenge, all of the staff and those who wanted to join took a Walthers Cornerstone State Line Farm Supply Kit and kitbashed it into something else. There were, of course, some rules for how the challenge had to be done and some parameters that were set up, and those were all outlined in a video that is available free on Model Railroader's YouTube channel. And if you'd like to see how the rules went, the link to that particular video you'll find in a card in the corner of your screen right now. Well, when I saw that they were doing this Kitbash challenge, I knew right away that I wanted to play along. Now, I am way behind. In fact, the Model Railroader Video Plus version of this challenge is already completely finished. But I still wanted to participate because I knew that this structure was perfect to kitbash for a particular item that I need, a structure I needed on my own layout. So today we're going to begin the process. I'm going to show you part one as we begin kitbashing a State Line Farm Supply kit in scale for myself. But first, I need to get a kit for myself. Now, I wonder where I could get my hands on a Walthers State Line Farm Supply kit. I know! Let's go see our friends at Midwest Model Railroad. I'm here at the brand new location of Midwest Model Railroad in Independence, Missouri with Stephen Atwell, the owner of Midwest Model Railroad, to pick up my State Line Farm Supply kit for the MRVP State Line Kitbash Challenge. If you find yourself in the Kansas City area, be sure and stop by Midwest Model Railroad. But wherever you are, you can order online at www.midwestmodelrr.com. Look for a link in the description down below. At their website, you'll find a full line of HO and N-scale locomotives, rolling stock, structures, detail parts, building supplies, and much more, as well as fantastic customer service. Be sure to check them out. Again, that address is midwestmodelrr.com. This challenge begins with a Walthers Cornerstone State Line Farm Supply kit, and in my case, I chose one in N-scale. The kit comes with all of the parts you'll need if you're building the kit as designed, molded in fine detailed plastic. The Walthers Cornerstone kits are generally very nicely designed and detailed kits and are a joy to work with for a plastic kit. I have a link to the HO version of this kit as one of my Amazon picks of the week in the description down below this video. As I considered what I wanted to do with this kit for the Kitbash challenge, I cut out the basic exterior walls and tacked them together with painter's tape to get a visual sense of what the structure would look like and its footprint. I knew before I opened the kit that I really liked the front facade of the structure and thought all along that I wanted to use it to build a used car dealership for my depiction of Bowie, Texas on my layout. Looking at the various parts and options from the construction of the kit, I decided to build a model inspired by this photo, with a brick carport added to the left front of the structure and a small brick storage room added to the rear right of the building. I would also be bricking up one of the side windows in the garage area of the structure and add an exhaust fan in another window in the rear. To build the carport and the storage room, I used Kitbash wall section brick. There are a number of different manufacturers that offer brick sheets for scratch building, and many of them have their own advantages and disadvantages. The Kitbash brick sheets are quite thick and thus a little harder to cut, but they have the best brick detail of any that I have seen in N-scale. You'll also find the Kitbash brick sheets linked in an Amazon pick of the week in the description to this video. For the columns on the carport, I used some leftover DPM modular wall system pilasters, which I cobbled together into square columns. For the storage room, I used Tichy Train Group utility windows and steel door. Finally, I used a Pike Stuff louvered wall vent for the rear exhaust fan. I started with the brick carport. First, I cut the DPM pilasters from the sprue. Some of the pilasters have beveled edges designed to be used for the corners of the modular structures that they were designed for, and others are square on both sides. I tried to work with the pilasters as I assembled them into square columns so as to match the beveled edges into nice corners and to keep those better looking corners in the places where they would be most visible. I measured the end columns on the kit front facade and cut the pilasters to match in height with my Micromark Chop-It. You can get this and many other great tools at micromark.com. Be sure to use the discount code RONSTRAINS to save 10% on those regularly priced items. I sanded the edges and ends of the pilasters smooth, and then began fitting them together at the corners and gluing them together using MEK as a solvent cement. Some modification was necessary to get the columns to come out square, and I was careful to make sure that the most visible sides of each column looked really good. I cut the cross supports to fit the brick columns from the Cabri brick sheets. I again used my Chop-It to cut strips of 30 thousandths by 80 thousandths strip styrene to the same length in order to model a capstone on the top and bottom of these supports, and I cemented these in place. I used the side wall from the kit to figure the depth of the carport and cut the cross supports for the end in much the same way that I did the front. I wanted to make sure that the depth of the carport allowed it to fit on the side of the building without interfering with the garage doors. The cross supports for the back of the carport had to be shorter in height to allow for the overhang of the roof from the kit, but they were built again in much the same way as the cross supports, using the same materials for capstones on the top and bottom. With all of the support posts and cross members built, I was ready to begin assembling the carport. I used the door window openings for the front facade to mark the support posts where the bottom of the cross members would line up. With the position marked, I used a machinist block to square the parts up and began assembling them and cementing them together. I assembled the front and rear portions as assemblies, and then connected the two assemblies together with the cross members for the end. I used calipers to measure the brick caps on the support columns to cut the stone caps for each of them from 40 thousandths styrene. Then I cemented them in place. When all of those joints were cured, I cut the roof section from 40 thousandths styrene. This process took a great deal of measuring, cutting, fitting, and adjusting. I started by measuring the basic dimensions with the caliper and cutting a simple rectangle from the styrene. I then started measuring and cutting notches for the support columns. I intentionally cut these notches small, knowing that I would have to file and sand them to get a perfect fit. When I was satisfied with the fit, I installed the roof against the lower capstone on the cross members and cemented it in place. There were a couple of minor gaps along the support columns, so I filled them with some Tamiya white putty, using the back of a number 11 blade to trowel it into place. This product cures quite quickly. After it had cured, I sanded it smooth. With the carport assembled, it was time to build the add-on storage room. I used the same KLEBER brick sheet that I had used for the carport. I started by measuring the middle window with calipers to cut a sheet of the brick to fill in this window. I cut it intentionally tight and sanded it to a perfect fit. When I was satisfied with the fit, I cemented it in place from the back with MEK. I made the storage room 16 scale feet by 22 scale feet by 14 scale feet high. It will have a flat roof installed at 12 feet. I installed a steel door and 3 industrial windows from Tichy Train Group. I marked the placement of the door and the windows from the back of the sheet, drilled out the corners of the holes. I cut the bulk of the plastic out with a hobby knife, and then filed and sanded the hole until the detail parts fit perfectly. I then installed the door and the window details. This left the storage room ready for assembly, but to get a view of what it looked like, I tacked it together temporarily with painter's tape. So this is where we are at this point. I'll continue the assembly and show the painting process for this structure in the next video, so be sure and join me for that. Well, I am very excited about the way this Kitbash is starting to come together, and I can't wait to get it finished up and get it out on my layout. Be sure and join me for part 2 as we continue the process of kitbashing the State Line kit. And if that video is out, you'll find a link to it in the card in the corner of your screen right now. Also, if you're into kit bashing and you want to see some more kit bashing videos, be sure and check out the end screen at the very end of this video, where I'm going to link a playlist where I did a kit bash of the Holt Hotel in downtown Wichita Falls, Texas. It was a fun project, and I know that you'll enjoy watching it. Well, before you go, be sure to check out the description down below, where you're going to find a link to my Amazon page and those picks of the week that I mentioned through the course of the video. You'll also find a promo code for Micromark that can save you 10% on all regularly priced items at micromark.com, as well as some other valuable links that you will appreciate. So take a moment to check out the description before you go. Well, be sure and join me again each Tuesday as I bring you more great model railroad videos, and I look forward to seeing you then. Lizzie?